Hello, everyone. Please excuse a little bit of the absence or tardiness. As always, I was fighting with my lip gloss because I can never find it, or I try to find it and then I set it somewhere, and then I'm like running around trying to find it again. That's just the burden of my life. But we are here for another week's episode of the Big Auntie Energy Show. And I'm really excited, though this week was a little bit of a lull when it came to news stories. I guess everybody is just ready for the holiday weekend. Not a whole bunch was going on, but I have some really, really, really fun topics to talk about. And I'm going to make sure that everyone can see me and hear me and talk to me. We go in public. So everyone can see me, hear me, talk to me on Facebook. Of course, I'm also live on YouTube and Twitch, but super, super excited about my guest. It's the last Wednesday of the month, the last day of the month. And this month I've been doing Educator Appreciation Month, and I've had on friends who are educators or work in the building, whether they're school counselors. And it's always been a passion of mine because, as I've said on this show in past weeks, I used to work in the education system for years, and I'm very passionate about it. And though I wish we didn't have to do this and make it a fundraiser, because school systems would just provide their educators with all the support and resources they need. It's cool. Just like most people have back to school drives, I'm doing this and dedicating it to educators, but not only just for the classrooms, but also to show you the many, many, many different faces and sides of our educators. So my guest today is Miss India. I'm popping her in. Hey.
Hi, everybody. I'm sharing the post now. Gotta make sure everybody sees this.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. So grateful to be with you. A dope night. We're gonna have a good night.
We're having so much fun, but let everyone know, tell everyone a little bit about you and what you do and how long you've been in the education system.
So, like Shani said, my name is India Reeves, and on Monday I began my 15th year. I know, girl.
15?
1-5, yes, ma'am. Monday was my 15th first day of school.
Wow.
I am a high school social studies teacher. I teach world history, civics and economics, American history, as well as African American history, with civics and economics and African American history being my specialty content areas. I had the opportunity to teach at my high school that I graduated from the first 3 years of my career. Then I was at my rival high school for 10 years. I know, girl. And about 2 years ago, I decided to switch things up. And I decided to go to the alternative high school here in Winston-Salem. I am in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Girl, you right down the street from me.
Where are you?
I'm in Charlotte.
I did not, girl. I thought you were in Maryland.
I was.
Okay.
I was.
We gotta do a job
I gotta
of
tell you about that.
Okay. But yeah, I am a classroom teacher. I absolutely love it. Most people would not stay in a classroom 15 years in this day and age, but I genuinely like the classroom. I've never desired to be an administrator or anything like that. The kids are the best part of the job, and I like doing that. But I actually started graduate school last Wednesday.
Yes.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Thank you. I am at Tennessee State University, TSU.
Okay.
HBCU. I want all my degrees from HBCUs. I vowed that to myself because
now.
I am a North Carolina Central University Eagle. Let's shout that out. Class 2007. But I am getting a master's in public administration. And a lot of people are like, well, how do you go from being a classroom teacher to getting an MPA? My goal is to create effective, efficient, and equitable policy for K through 12 public education. So being a civics teacher, I genuinely understand that, people blame the schools, they blame the principals, they blame parents and school districts, but at the end of the day, all of those entities work to fulfill laws that your legislators create. And so if you want to see more of a massive impact or a massive change, you have to get to the table where the change actually occurs, and that is through laws. And so, pursuing this MPA to eventually become an elected official, and write laws for public education. Like that's the end game. That's the end game. So when y'all see me on the ballot, vote India Reeves.
Absolutely. Look, I told you I'm right down the street now. I will be out there. I will pass
Yes.
out flyers. I'll be at the
Yes.
little station and y'all,
Yes.
they have
Yes.
little apples of who you should vote for.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. Because that's why I wanted to do this is, we'll get into the fun stuff, but
Mhm.
I think there's so many aspects of education that people don't know,
Absolutely.
and the
Absolutely.
passions behind a lot of what educators do in the classroom.
Mhm.
And like you said, some people don't want to do admin, but when it comes to curriculum, that's a huge
Mhm.
part of the educational school system that people can
Mhm.
be a part of to make real change. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
curriculum is change.
Mhm.
Policy
Policy.
is
Absolutely.
change. We look at, so me being from the DMV area, when you had in Virginia, they're like, oh, we don't want these books and we don't want that's a
Mhm.
policy thing,
Absolutely.
and
You get it. You get it. You get it.
it's so important. So I love that you said that. Yeah, it's so, girl, kudos to
Thank
you. I
you.
love it. I love it. And I want to hit on one more quick thing. You said you're at an alternative high school. How is that a
Yeah.
little different from what exactly? I kind of know, but I
Mhm.
think for those who may not know, what is the difference with teaching in I guess we'll say traditional high school versus
Traditional, absolutely. That's
alternative?
how. That's the term to use. So, a traditional school is your just average everyday high school. There are various forms of alternative schools. You have special needs schools that would be considered an alternative school. I personally work in an alternative school in which, when students behaviors don't quite line up with the traditional school standards, they are sent to our school. And
Mm,
usually our students will complete 45 days at the school, which is usually averaging around a quarter.
okay.
And if they have, 80% attendance, academics are doing well, as well as behavior, then they are released to go back to their home school after the
Mhm.
45 days is up. So, yeah, everybody was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're going to the alternative school. The kids are so bad. Kids are kids. I can teach
Mhm.
in, I don't like to use the word hood, but I can teach in the most challenging schools, and I can teach in the upper echelon schools, so to speak. And kids are the same across the board. They all have certain commonalities that, so going to the alternative school, that was just kind of like another notch on my belt to say that I did it and I can still have a great impact on all students, not just the ones who are doing right, quote unquote.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's interesting of what you said, I felt the same way. I'm like, sometimes the hood schools be better than the rich schools and the
There's
private
not
schools.
sometimes it is like
Like, those
we
are the schools I'm
are
like, I'd rather be there than,
We are
here you
who
gotta
we
deal
are,
with.
and I love
Yeah,
teaching in Black and Brown schools. My
yes.
entire career, I've been at a Title One school.
Okay.
If people don't understand what Title One is, it is where over 50% of your students get free or reduced lunch.
Mhm.
So it would be most of the schools that are Title One in my district, at least, are predominantly Black and Brown schools, and I love it there. Like, it's the culture. Like, come on now.
I was just about to say that. I was literally about to, I'm like, oh, it's the culture. The culture in those schools
Mhm.
is so I work when I taught in middle school. I taught in a school that was same. We were like
Mhm. Mhm.
85% farms. Like
Mhm.
almost all of our kids on free and reduced lunch.
Mhm.
It was
Mhm.
we had a lot of students who had interrupted education who were coming
Mhm.
from different countries. So they may have skipped a grade or haven't been in
Mhm.
school for 3 years,
Mhm.
and it was it was challenging, right? Like being
Mhm.
in front of a whole bunch of people, kids is always going to be challenging, but
Absolutely.
it was such a great cultural eye-opening moment. I mean, there were so many aspects of Hispanic and Latin populations that I just didn't know and understand, and my kids are teaching me, and I'm like, oh, okay, they getting me with. And even for my Black kids, you kind of become that as then they was called, oh, that's like my big sister. Now I'm in auntie mode. But
girl, I cannot believe. First of all, you got to tell people we go way back, Shanice.
yes,
Way back. We were
undergrad.
kids, undergraduate, and so now the fact that we are aunties, girl,
full auntie mode, like that is what they call me. I have worked and I still volunteer because we're both in sororities. I'm AKA, you are a
member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated.
Okay. So, we do our community service and we'll be out there with the young kids or the younger. And I mean, they were, oh, yeah, it's like auntie. And I'm like, what happened to big sis?
Like, wait a minute. Didn't nobody tell you to call me auntie? Like,
right. Like, it has just gotten to that. But along with even saying that, just the work that you've done, and I mean, so many of our other fellow Eagles who really put in this work and grind it out, and also embracing Black culture and HBCU cultures at these schools. I tell people all the time, it's 107 of us. Look, I'm only paying for 106. But I love when I see online and I see educators when you're decorating your room and you're showing that pride, and these students are really following lockstep and just the impact I have. So I want to say kudos to the 15 years that you are putting in.
I'm not new. I ain't new to it. I'm true to it, baby.
Come on.
Like, I am really an OG in this. Like, I remember being the youngest teacher in the building.
Yeah.
I remember everybody like, oh my God, the baby. Now I'm like, oh, the babies. Like,
right. Look, they looking at you. They probably knocking on your door. Miss Reeves, so look, I'm struggling with this. And you like, come on in. Let me tell you about that.
Are you in my school? Are you in my building? Like, because that is literally how it goes. But it's all good. It's all good.
Oh, I definitely know. I appreciate it. And of course, everyone, I have put India's information for her Cash App in the description on Facebook, on Twitch, and also on YouTube. So, though the school year is starting, unfortunately, like I said in my opening, our school systems, it's tough. It is so tough for educators, and the monetary amount that comes out of your pockets, it's crazy. I'm not in education anymore. I'm education adjacent, as I always like to say. And I work for a bigger organization that supports organizations. And, when I go to work, they give me supplies. I have pens and pencils. I have my printer. I have everything I need to be successful. But I remember the first day walking into my big classroom and I was like,
nothing's there.
Nothing's there. Some of the stuff there is broken. Like, moving around, like, so, and you have to make magic when those students walk in. And so, it's a tough thing. We do these school drives, almost everyone has one. Churches, community groups, grocery stores. But those who can give, make sure you do. And again, the link is in the bio. So are you ready to get into these very, very interesting topics?
Let's go.
So look, we are going to get into the first one. And, we all know what happened with the Oscar slap heard around the world. That is still going on. And I saw this headline. I thought to myself, the Oscars they really tried it.
They tried it. Oh, yeah.
Listen, so the Oscars, oopsie, I popped it out. Sorry. So the Oscars actually asked Chris Rock, who was he's hosted the Oscars before. He presented, and that's when he got hit. And they then banned Will Smith. We know he's banned from the Oscars. I don't think he's banned from being nominated or winning, but he can't attend for 10 years. And oopsie, whoa, is that me?
Oh no, that was me.
Sorry, no worries. I thought it was me. So we know Will Smith is banned, but the fact that they decided to turn around and asked Chris Rock to host, I thought
Like
was
y'all really playing.
I thought it was so bizarre. What were your thoughts about this? Because
First of all, no. The womb is too fresh. Things are just still a little too touchy. Like, I can understand how traumatic that was for him. And so, just looking at the title of the article, he says it's like asking Nicole Brown Simpson to go back to the restaurant. In case you guys don't know what they're referring to, OJ Simpson's ex-wife who was murdered, and you know, it's just like, no, not now. Too soon. Too soon. Too soon. Too soon. And it's like, y'all really got the balls to ask him that.
and that was the crazy thing that I thought about, which was it is. It's like asking somebody to go. That's like asking Tina to be like, well, you don't want to get like one more chance. Like, no, I
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah,
be in that situation. I don't want to
yeah.
be around this person. And like you said, it's crazy. Even when I was reading, it was like it was 5 months ago, and I was like, it had to be more than that. And I'm like, no, I think it really
No.
was like a
Yeah.
few months
It
ago.
was very recent.
It really was. And I don't know why they would use the idea of hosting the
Mm-hmm.
Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my mind, even if you're the Oscars director or producer, you know what Chris Rock has been saying in small comments that he has come out
Mm-hmm.
about. What do you think he's going to do hosting? He's
Mm-hmm.
going
Mm-hmm.
to bring it up. He's going to
Mm-hmm.
have to address it if you
Address
will.
it, yeah. And that's what they want. And I think oftentimes, I don't want to turn everything into a race thing, but race plays a big part because we are people of color. I think oftentimes it's the expectation that people of color will literally just like take a licking and keep on ticking. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
so a lot of times these entities that are majority white, they don't attempt to empathize with people of color when it comes to traumatic instances. So I think it was a very insensitive thing, and I'm sure somebody behind the scene was like, oh, yeah, I think, this is a kind of way to smooth things over. No, I don't want to. No.
It's funny because I was thinking this. I was like, there had to be a bunch of people who made this, who came up with this
Mm-hmm.
idea,
Mm-hmm.
thought it was good, and there was not one. And I say
Nobody
real black
said.
person because let's just call
Mm-hmm.
it like
Mm-hmm.
one real black person. Like, are y'all serious? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
no, this is
yeah.
a terrible idea, and here's why. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I felt like this was also another. They don't have enough voices or multiple different voices in the room
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because this seems like what typically happens in Hollywood, in fashion, and in a lot of these bigger industries where it is a bunch of the same people that look the
Mm-hmm.
same, act
Oh
the
yeah.
same,
Oh
have
yeah.
the
Oh
same
yeah.
background. They make these decisions and they just don't think it through because in their lens they don't see the problem, and it takes
Mm-hmm.
minorities or women or people of color or all of these other things, these entities, to come in and be like, no, that's dumb. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it
bad
makes
idea.
zero sense to even throw that out there into the atmosphere right now. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I know that he has declined it. I think the Oscars, I mean, eventually whomever, because it has that style of, kind of mean humor and stuff. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously with
Mm-hmm.
the 2023 Oscars, there is going to be instances or jokes of this. But
About it. Yeah.
I think the idea of asking Chris Rock, like, this was just stupid. Like, it was just absolutely
Yeah.
stupid. So I'm glad he declined it. He still hasn't talked to Will Smith. I think, I'm still waiting for that red table because I'm telling you, when that
That's the one I want to
drops,
see.
when that red table drops, because
Yeah.
it's coming.
It's coming.
Oh,
But
I'll probably go live
I
right
think
after
it's
it drops.
only when he's ready.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You can't make people who have been victimized to any extent address trauma until they're ready to address it. They don't owe it. He doesn't owe it to Will Smith to sit down with him at this moment. Like yeah, it'll be a little while for that.
Oh,
Let that
absolutely.
man heal a little bit before he get to that red table.
Oh, absolutely. And guess what? I'm gonna tell you one thing I will be doing is why that's gonna be some must see TV.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So my next one is Miss Serena Williams. So for those who have heard, I think we talked about it last week or maybe even the week before. So Serena Williams, this is her final US Open, and she absolutely dazzled in her outfit. And so, of course, me, I was a
Experiences.
fashion major in undergrad. And one thing about this, I'm trying to see if you can see the whole outfit. One thing I thought was absolutely amazing about this outfit, it is, of course, custom. Like
Mm-hmm.
it is, of course,
Only way to do
custom
it.
to her, but it was actually mimicked off of a figure skater's outfit. It is
Mm-hmm.
just dripping in diamonds and crystals. She has diamonds in her hair, and I hope they show it. I don't know if this is the right clip, but there's one where they actually made they don't have it on this picture. I'm so mad. They actually have Olympia, her daughter, who has the exact same custom Nike outfit as
Mommy and
her.
me.
It is absolutely stunning. And of course, she won the first round of the US Open. And
Mm-hmm.
I think she's actually playing right now.
Oh,
And
okay.
everything she has is custom, even down to the shoes that were like
Mm-hmm.
diamond custom.
Mm-hmm.
How, I mean, even when she decided she was going to I don't want to say quit or retire, she decided to evolve from tennis.
Mm-hmm. I love that
What
word.
were your, oh, me too. I was like, oh, and using that. What were your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts about not only Serena evolving from tennis, but just how amazing she looked?
Well, first of all, who do it better than Black women? Like, I'll wait. Oh, okay. We don't do anything normal. We are not just okay in anything. She has dominated the sport for over 2 decades now. Baby girl, take your rest in this area. Now she is a mother, she is a wife, and I'm sure she has other things she wants to pursue. So many times, people will place us in a box where this is all you can do. And I think her taking a step out to evolve, it's just showing the world is so much more to her than just being an amazing tennis player. And then you know us. If it's gonna be the last rodeo, baby, we're going out in style.
Okay. Okay.
We are going to go out in style. Like it is black girl magic at its finest. Like I don't just come dominate on this tennis court. I do it looking bomb. Hair laid, outfit laid, shoes laid, and I'm still whooping up on everybody who step on this court with me. So not only are you going to talk about my professional record, but now let me give you something to talk about with this outfit too. And then
Okay.
to top it off, let me put it on my baby girl.
Come on. And I love
So,
that. I
yeah.
love the idea that, I mean, every photo shoot you've seen her when she's got
Mhm.
couture,
Mhm.
Olympia's got
Mhm.
couture. So
Mhm.
when I saw, and then Olympia had the corn, I got, okay, you know what? While you talking, I'm about to find a picture. We got to see baby girl. We got to see
Yeah.
baby girl.
Yeah, but I love what she and her sister, because you can't mention one without mentioning the other, what they have done, even going back to the Oscars. I hate that it went the way it did because Will Smith won an Oscar that night
Mhm.
for his role portraying her father. And it just kind of sucks that the slap overshadowed, the actual film. But Serena Williams is super dope. I love the human side of her. I love that we get to see her angry. I love that we see her pissed off. I love that we see her cussing out a ref because he tried to play her. Like that is that not us every day? That was a couple years ago, and maybe cussing out is a little far stretch. I tend to be a little dramatic, but she had some words with him. It was an unfair call, and she called him out on it. And so I love that throughout the span of her career, we've been able to see her in her totality as a woman, as a black woman who stands up for herself, who protects herself, who don't let anybody play her. So I just think it's really dope that now she's leaving this place so gracefully. so gracefully. I know she hasn't, I'm not going to say she hasn't been winning lately, but I know she's had a few defeats in the past. Look at my girl. Killing it,
Look.
beads. That's like throwback Venus and Serena, like with the cornrows and the beads, and
And that's what gave
yeah,
me so much life. Like it was like I
yeah.
knew she was gonna have something cute on her, matching her mom. I was like, of course she
Mhm.
would. But the
Mhm.
cornrows and beads,
Mhm. Mhm. That's throwback. We know that. We know that look. We've
right?
seen
That's
that
what we
look.
grew up on. Like when I think
Absolutely.
about just Serena and Venus's journey, for me, they are so iconic. When you think of tennis, you think of Venus and Serena,
Absolutely.
especially in the 90s and the 2000s. Like it was just
Mhm.
them. It was no other, no
Mhm.
all
Mhm.
those other girls. It just
I
wasn't
can't
it.
name one.
Right. It's like it just wasn't it. And for me, when it comes to their style and being so iconic, this is how I looked as a kid. And
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
it was big for me to see black girls who look like me, who were dark skinned like me, who just were amazing at this sport that I
Talk
was
that
not
talk.
good at
Mhm.
all. But they
Mhm. But
had
we supported
cornrows.
them.
Right. Like I was like, tennis is cool. I can't do it well, but
But I
you
like
know,
it. Yeah.
but they had cornrows and beads. And that was one thing like I remember having as a kid. And,
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
teased at times and everything like
Mhm.
that. But it's that image when you are able to
Mhm.
see someone who looks like you and they're at the top of their game and
Mhm.
all we knew was Venus and Serena.
Mhm.
We knew of like Arthur Ashe as like a historical
Mhm.
figure, but
Mhm.
Venus and Serena, I mean, they are hugely iconic. And like you
Mhm.
said, with them being executive producers for a movie about their dad and their
Mhm.
life, and she's venturing into so many other things, and her social
Mhm.
media is so
Mhm.
funny. I'm just not
Mhm.
only I
Mhm.
love the evolution that she's choosing to take. She talked, of course, in the article about, this is something that as women we have to do that men generally don't ever have to think about. But I love that. I'm so
Absolutely.
excited to see what she does
What's
next.
next? Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
I am so in tune. I'm like, and the thing is, I also feel like we know Venus is probably going to be not too far behind, being that Venus is
Mhm.
older than Serena.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I'm just like, to me, I'm just like, what is going to be next
Yeah.
for Venus
It's
and
gonna be
Serena?
big. It's still gonna be big.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely. Like whatever they do it big. And I mean, come on, look at their debut of executive producing a movie. It wins an Oscar.
That wins an Oscar. Like, not only is she like the number one tennis player in the world, but she is an Oscar winning EP. Like,
Out the gate. Out, like,
shall I go
how are
on?
you that amazing? Like out the
Mhm.
gate,
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
crazy. But I'm like I said, I was like, I have to find this picture because Olympia looked so cute. And like you said, the
Super cute.
throwback. But I'm just excited, win, lose, or draw.
Mhm.
Serena's an icon. Venus are icons.
Mhm.
And you talked about the gracefulness of it. I remember, when Serena played Naomi Osaka and
Mhm.
how
Mhm.
she had to correct the crowd and correct the media to give Naomi her space and to
Mhm.
congratulate her and give her that moment, as
Mhm.
iconic as she is, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
as
yeah.
big as she is, she wasn't like, y'all chill out. Like she was just like, nah, this is
Yeah.
about her, and I just can't
It,
wait.
it it makes her, she's a dope human.
Yeah.
We know her as a dope public figure, but that shows her humanity and who she really is. And I love it so much in how she's passing the torch essentially. She was proud of Naomi. She was
Hmm.
extremely proud of her because she knows that her days in this are winding down. And it's great to know that the next generation who has next looks like
Hmm.
has that same love for her blackness like and it's just you're really walking away from this, leaving it in the hands of such a capable young black woman. Such an
Absolutely.
amazing thing.
Absolutely. And then just to see that these young girls looked up to you, and they're bringing it. Like they didn't let up. Again, Naomi beat
Mhm.
her.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's definitely a legacy that is just unmatched, and I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to see what's next. I'm just
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh
whatever they
yeah.
do, it is going to be
It's gonna be dope.
greatness, right? Like y'all the
Period.
greatest
Period.
tennis
Point
players.
blank.
You just had an Oscar-winning movie. The first,
Mhm.
like first time out, like whatever they do is gonna be amazing. And I, of
Oh
course,
yeah.
will be watching along the way.
Absolutely. We all will, girl.
Right. So our next one, I
Auntie
love is Miss
Tab.
Tab. So Miss Tabitha Brown, who to me is just a genuinely great human being, right?
Mhm.
Especially
Mhm.
with the social media age
Mhm.
and all the stuff that a lot of the content we get on social media, some of it can
Mhm.
be problematic, toxic, whatever you want to call it. I feel like Tabitha Brown kind of came out the gate and she was just authentically her.
Mhm. And
Um,
people loved it.
and just loved it and absolutely
Mhm.
loved it. And she's vegan. I'm not vegan, I'm pescatarian, but I love following a lot of different
Mhm. Mhm.
vegan chefs
Mhm.
and those who are making cookbooks because it's always fun to find new recipes. But
Recipes, absolutely.
her glow up, if you will, I feel is so well deserved. And even a lot of what she's doing, I feel is so on brand with her spice, which can't nobody find. Like,
Mhm. It is always sold out.
I don't know
Like,
where it is.
yeah, yeah.
I remember even her Target line. I remember it dropped and I went to Target and they were like, "We have this much left." I said,
Yeah.
"This is not, man."
Even online, totally sold out. Yeah.
I was like, "What is happening?" So I
Yeah.
love her success, and even when I heard she was getting this Food Network show, I was like, "It makes sense," and it's
Mhm.
also time specific. Like I love HGTV, Food Network, all of them are under the same umbrella. They always lack diversity.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
most importantly, when it comes to food, it's especially since my diet changed, it's just hard sometimes to watch because, like, oh, that's cool. Don't eat
But I
pork,
need that.
don't eat
Yeah.
this, don't eat that.
Yeah.
So I was really excited about the fact that she was getting her own show to really showcase all that you can truly do with, under a vegan or vegetarian or
Mhm.
plant-based
Mhm.
diet. But a lot of this shakeup, and I got this from Vibe online, which I was like, I didn't even know Vibe was still a thing.
Girl, yes. Yes, I think they're totally online. I don't think they have print anymore, but Vibe is still around.
Yeah, so I'm like, no shade to Vibe, but I was like, "Ooh, Vibe got some good
Long
articles."
live the publications, the black
Yes.
publications of the 90s. Yes.
I was
Yes.
like, "Come on, Vibe." So they basically she was gonna have a prime time slot, and they
Uh-huh.
moved her to the 1 o'clock slot. And a lot of the controversy, and she's even come out and spoke about it in the article, was just
Mhm.
that a lot of the creative ideas and what she wanted to do for the show didn't align with what Food Network wanted to
Mhm.
do. This is not the first time she's come out and talked about deals and partnerships
Mhm.
where she has chosen her integrity and her brand over everything.
Yeah.
I feel that's on brand, but how do you feel about these type of things when you have these stars, if you will, these natural viral stars, if you want to call it that, but when they're able to go mainstream, that they're trying to change them, and it's like, well, this is what made me famous. This is what made me likable.
So, when I was in the 10th grade, I'll never
Mhm.
forget, I went to a predominantly black high school, and I remember someone from the yearbook asked me for a quote, like if I had any advice to freshmen, what would I say?
Mhm.
And it's still in my yearbook to this day. And it says, march to the beat, or I've always marched to the beat of my own drum. And I'll be darned if I didn't look up and the crowd was following me.
Hello.
And I
Come on, get it
think
right.
that is the perfect way to describe Tabitha Brown. She is in a league of her own. Who else is in the lane with Tabitha Brown? Yeah, nobody. And so I think her authenticity, she getting ready to turn 1 o'clock up. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? Set your DVRs. You're going to be doing on demand playbacks. You know, it's really like you won't break my soul.
Right. I think I put that in the like
Yeah,
y'all not gonna break Tab
you
soul.
really will not break her, and she's not nasty about it. She is not bashing Food Network. She is just standing in her own authenticity. And it is encouraging, it is inspiring, it is motivating to see. It sucks that when you have people who are genuinely authentic and they do move into the mainstream, oh well, everybody would like to see this, or this is what they think. No, how did she blow up like she did? By being who she is. And I think her having a show on Food Network brings a totally different demographic to viewers that would never really kind of watch Food Network. And like, let's be honest, Food Network that fell off a little bit. Like,
Oh,
we
absolutely.
don't watch Food Network like we used to, but I think bringing her on, it's gonna bring an audience back as well. And so if I do watch Food Network and I do watch it, I want to see the Tabitha Brown that I know and I fell in love with. I don't want to see some whitewashed um Mary Poppins kind of. We want to see Auntie Tab.
Right.
That's what we want to see.
And that was my thought too, which was number one, again, when you look across the lineup of Food Networks and the HGTVs and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, it looks one type of way. And specifically with Food Network, a lot of their shows were getting very formulaic.
Mundane,
It
yeah.
was just like they come in, cute little something, they cook, they leave. Like it was that for 30 minutes
Mm-hmm.
every single show. It was either going to
Mm-hmm.
be someone with a southern accent or someone with a California accent. Like,
Not the Southern accent,
like
yes.
it
Classic
just
Food Network.
that was all the
Yeah.
variety you would really get. And I felt like when it was even announced that Tabitha Brown was getting something, I was like, oh, this is going to knock everyone off their socks. It's not going to be, it's more than likely going to be more vegan,
Mm-hmm.
vegetarian, plant-based,
Mm-hmm.
which we all could use a little bit
Use.
of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
even tell people when I change my diet, I'm like, it's not just about, for me, it was changing my lifestyle, but for some people, it may be let's jazz up the sides. Let's
Mm-hmm.
jazz up
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving. Let's try
Try
something a
something
little
different.
different.
Yeah,
And to
we
see a
tired
black
of ham, turkey,
right.
potato salad, collards with pork meat in it.
And
Yeah,
look,
we.
let's not act like as black people. Once we got fried turkey, we was like, oh, we done jazz it up for a decade. That's all you need is
We
some
don't
fried
need nothing
turkey. We done
else.
jazz it up for ain't nothing changed in a decade after we got some
Yeah,
fried
yeah, yeah,
turkey.
yeah, yeah.
So
But Tab is offering us some just different things, and kudos
right.
to her for saying it with her chest out and standing on her beliefs and her values. Because even like I said, if they change it, and this is what you got to understand, and I'm gonna try not to get too spiritual, but when oil is on you, I don't care
Mhm.
where you gonna go. Where you go, you're gonna be oily.
Yeah. Come on
Put me
now.
at 1 o'clock and watch the masses come to the 1 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? To the point that you would have wished you put me on Prime TV.
Exactly.
I feel like I said, Auntie Tab has the oil. She's very oily, and so whatever she puts her hands to is gonna prosper. Whatever place she steps in, the atmosphere and the environment is going to change because she is there. She is truly a world changer, a groundbreaker, a history maker, and a foundation shaker. Like,
Come on
she
now.
is that. You know what I'm saying? So you can try to water it down, but baby, it's gonna shine. Like, the fire is there. It is going to flame, and she's gonna do what she does, and that's be Tab Brown.
Absolutely. And I'm so excited to see it because like I said, I'm ready to take my notes, to go
Mm-hmm.
online and be like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
let me go ahead and download this recipe.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Because and that's, my thing is like you guys came to her for a reason. You
Mm-hmm.
have to let this
You came
person
to
be who
her.
they
Oh yeah, that part.
yeah. And be authentically them. Obviously, it may be like, hey, we gotta keep it in a 30-minute, how do you
Mm-hmm.
go to
Mm-hmm.
that? But as far as, like you said, a lot of times it is the dulling down and the whitewashing of it. And I'm just glad that she's not doing that because
Yeah.
that's not what her fans and those who support want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And, again,
Mm-hmm.
she's also a North Carolina native.
Woo, woo, woo,
So
woo,
where's she from?
Carolina. I
I know
don't
she's
get
from North
to
Carolina, but I
Lion.
couldn't.
It's a very small town. A lady at my church, her and Tab grew up together. And she was
Really?
just telling me, I want to say Lillington, but don't correct,
Okay.
don't quote me. I was gonna say correct me, don't quote me. But I know it's like a really small country North Carolina town.
Right. Because I feel like I heard it once and I was like, I went to Central and there was a lot of folks from all over North Carolina and I ain't heard that one.
I ain't know. Hold on, you know what? We got Google. Let's
Right.
see, where
Hold on, where is
is
she from?
Tabitha Brown from? Eden. That's what it is.
Yes, I was
Eden.
like, I had never. I
Right
was
up
like,
the street. Actually, it's
never.
right up the street from Winston. I think it's kind of like going towards Pilot Mountain.
Oh, okay. See,
You
yeah,
don't even know.
small. Right.
Up 52, girl. Up 52. Stay on 52 North and just keep going.
Just keep going and then you'll
Just keep
see.
going. Just keep
But
going.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited about the show. Like you said, they haven't announced exactly when it's going to premiere, but of course when it does, I know,
We're
like I said,
watching.
as a huge foodie, I'm watching. I will watch it on
Mhm.
demand. We're gonna get them ratings up because again, her fans are
Absolutely.
going to do that. So we'll
Absolutely.
go to our next one, which is a
Ooh.
very interesting one because this is this is a headline that is slightly
Go
misleading.
ahead now. Go ahead now,
It's
Megan.
slightly misleading. So, we
We've been
all
riding
know,
with you. We've been
yes.
riding with you, but baby, you can't start saying stuff like this. Yeah.
So Meghan Markle, we all know the Duchess of Sussex, and her
Mm-hmm.
husband. We all saw the Oprah interview.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
all know the comments that were
Mm-hmm.
were made concerning their child Hugh.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for probably, I will say others, they probably were like, oh, I mean, I get it. But for Black people, we was like, what did they think that was what? Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know I was confused. I was like, wait, they
Yeah.
said what? Like, girl, you
Yeah.
you better touch a
Yeah.
black. What did you talk like?
Yeah.
What do they think gonna happen?
Yeah.
So she has started a podcast which is exclusive to Spotify, which is called Architects. And her
Okay.
first episode actually was with Serena, which they're like best friends. They've known each other for
Mm-hmm.
years.
Forever. Yeah.
And so in her latest episode, she interviews Mariah Carey. And so when I saw this headline in my mind, I was like, I get it. Of course, the first time she's felt like a black woman was after being with the royal family and a lot of, the controversy we saw
Mm-hmm.
that happened with that family. But I was like, of course, I was like, let me listen to the podcast because I gotta
Mm-hmm.
get the context,
The
not from an
context.
article. I want to hear it. So I got to listen to the podcast. What the reason why this is a little misleading is because in the podcast, her and Mariah Carey really go deeper
Mm-hmm.
into the fact that they are mixed
Mm-hmm.
children. Both of them are
Mm-hmm.
mixed children. But they're also light skinned. They refer to themselves as light skinned. Some would say fair
Mm-hmm.
skin, but lighter black skin or lighter
Mm-hmm.
mixed kids. And when they were kids, how they didn't quite fit in with either the white kids at school or the
Or
black
black
kids, and
kids. Yeah.
how they've had to navigate life as a mixed kid. And so when she talks about not being treated or talked about as a black woman, she refers to it more in the idea that she's always been considered, mixed, or people don't quite know exactly what she is. I know the first time I saw her in a movie, I was like, oh, she's racially ambiguous. Like that was the word I always
Mm-hmm.
used to use if I'm like, I can't quite tell what,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
person's
Mm-hmm.
ethnic background is. And so Mariah Carey even talks about that in her childhood growing up, really not fitting in with the white kids. Cause obviously when she was younger, she said her hair was a lot more coarser and, she didn't
Mm-hmm.
have the big blonde waves and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She had kinky hair, as she
Mm-hmm.
talked about
Mm-hmm.
it, or tight curls. And so that was a little bit more of the discussion, and not in the more cynical way that I personally thought about it when I saw this article.
See, Shiny. I hear what you're saying. I personally have not listened to the podcast, but I don't like how when making reference to her being treated negatively or badly, now you're putting that with being a black woman. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
And so I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
I hear what you're saying. I hear that this context can be misleading, but not really. Like you said what you said. Say it with your chest out. You didn't feel like a black woman until people started treating you like trash. And I don't like that.
Mm.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. Because I like Meghan Markle. She went and got her a prince and brought him back to America. That's coming to
Okay.
America, period.
Okay.
Um, the 21st century version. But like I said, just that nuance that being black, being a black woman equates to being treated badly.
I
And
didn't even know. I didn't even think of that angle. You're
out of
right.
everything you could have said, that's how you chose to portray relating to or being a black woman.
Mm.
And who has supported you and held you down since you got in this cahoot with the royals? Black women. Who has supported you? Who has held your arms up and chinned up you when they were dragging you through the mud? We have. And it's like, it sucks that we've done all this support for you, but you just kind of told us how you view being a woman. Black woman.
You know what, India? Honestly, I didn't even think about that angle.
Mhm.
I didn't, right? Because, like I said, I saw the article, I listened to it, and I was like, okay, I kind of get what she was saying. I think these articles, like I said, a lot of times it's clickbait and you'll see it on
Mhm.
the gossip
Mhm.
blogs. And their conversation was actually really good. Obviously, I am
Mhm.
not a mixed girl. Ain't nobody gonna question what my
Uh-huh.
race is.
We black girls. Mhm.
Black girls, black
Mhm.
girls, black girls. And to be
Mhm.
honest, even as a dark skinned black girl, I've never there are things that some people have experienced in darker skin that I personally have never experienced. And I don't
Mhm.
take away from that. And I'm very cognizant, especially as an adult. And so I was definitely respectful of the conversations they had. Secondly, I mean, Mariah Carey's personality, I just be like, I just want to hang out with her because she's
Mhm.
so
She's
funny.
fun. Mhm.
And she's from New York. She's from Long Island. Like she's so funny, and like um, her her personality definitely, in my personal opinion, she is embracing of not only being mixed, but she's very embracing of the culture.
Mhm.
And she's very respectful of that. And sometimes when even listening to it, it did feel at times that Meghan Markle, it was like, even though her mom was black and she was raised by her mom, it still doesn't seem that she was ever really in the culture.
Mhm. Mhm.
And with you making that, with you saying that, it does make sense because you're right. The idea was, well, I was always this mixed head and I didn't quite fit in. But then when I started getting treated black, that's when I felt like a black woman. It was like,
Mhm. Yeah.
like,
That's how I thought of it from when I read the topic. Like, oh, I get it now that you are being disrespected. Now that you are being publicly humiliated. Some of the things that they said and done has been absolutely humiliating. Now that you are being berated by many people online. Now that you are being trolled. Now you feel like a black woman.
right. Or,
Not
yeah.
when black women were supporting you and have supported you. That didn't make you feel like a black woman,
Mm,
and colorism is real,
yep.
you're afforded opportunities. I mean, and I'll say it as a light skinned woman, as a fair skinned woman, but baby, you're still black.
Yeah. We
you
we
know,
knew it.
that hair curled just at the right place. Yeah, you black.
Okay. I remember one picture and I was like, "Ooh, I see them edges, girl."
It
Yeah, they
show
don't
up.
they don't
It
got all the
shows
right
up.
products over there. Yeah, you need to
It
come right
shows
on
up.
back
It
here.
shows up. Yeah, but I mean, wishing her well. I honestly, I like Harry. I think a little bit more than I like Megan.
I
His
have
cute self, his little red hair. He is
oh,
his mama's son. Like,
I have always I remember
yeah.
being a kid and you get the royal news here and there and unfortunately when
Mm-hmm.
Diana, was killed.
Mm-hmm.
And I just always remember having the biggest crush on Harry.
Oh,
I was just
Harry,
like,
yeah.
oh, he is just so cute. And he just seems so, he just wasn't as
It's
stuffy. And,
mm-mm.
maybe, a lot of
He
people
ain't
say,
act like them people. He did not act like
right. He always
that.
had a little bit more of a caring heart. And, a lot of people say, well, because he wasn't, the next in line, he was
Mm-hmm.
Prince and he would always technically, kind of be Prince, like his older brother who is groomed to be king and has
Mm-hmm.
different expectations. But I just always like Harry. That was just, I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
he was just cute to me. And like
He
you said, the red
cute. That
hair.
little red hair. My boy got a goatee, the beard,
Yes.
like,
And but I just Harry was just
okay.
always the one my favorite. And so and like you said, I mean, I always was rooting for them. I was like, of course
Mm-hmm.
Harry would have a black
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I never second guessed it of her being mixed. I was like, she's black. Like
Yeah, yeah,
once we really found out who she was, it was like, oh, she's black. It's like, I remember
yeah.
her from that movie. I didn't know. I was like, oh, she's black. But
Mm-hmm.
it was now the dawning of it. And I think that's the bigger conversation that, we all should start to have, which is, when it comes to these, with mixed kids and or mixed girls or boys and their identity and how they associate their halves,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well,
Mm-hmm.
if you're welcomed more in the white community, do you feel that's a good thing versus if you're
Mm-hmm.
more welcome in the black community? Because that's another reason why, if you haven't heard it, like I say, it's only on Spotify, it's not on Apple, but it's a really good, interesting conversation because I definitely am going to listen to it again with a different lens. But Mariah Carey does talk about that. She was like, I'm in this space. And, she's like, in the industry, they were wondering, well, why are you always with the rappers? And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, she was like friends. She's like really close friends with Busta Rhymes. Have you seen Busta Rhymes? Like he's
Mm-hmm.
dope. And
Mm-hmm.
she had that amazing song "One Sweet Day"
Mm-hmm.
with Boys the Men. Like that song still
Mm-hmm.
will make me cry.
Mm-hmm. But you know something, even about Mariah Carey, if you look at earlier Mariah Carey, they were definitely trying to put her in that pop,
Yes.
cut off short, curly hair, mixed girl. And then she came out with that song. They were in like the gold hallway, like, and we were like,
Was
oh,
it Honey? Not Honey.
honey, and
It
we
was like,
like,
yeah.
oh, it's a different Mariah.
Okay.
This
She was
is
like,
not
Kim.
me and Mariah. Yes, yes. This is not me
Mhm.
and Mariah go back like babies and pacifiers that ODB
Yes.
was talking about. And so I think that in that album, because Mariah was now in the short dresses, she was a black girl. There was no
Yes.
distinction of it. And I think she found her place to be who she really was. You know, I feel like those earlier years were who Tommy Mottola and all those who were influential in getting her career up off the ground, who they wanted her to be. But going back to what we were just talking about, Tabitha Brown, it always works being your most authentic self. You
Absolutely.
know, she became the icon that she is, being her authentic self, which is a black woman. So,
Absolutely. And so yeah, if you anyone who has a moment, it's about the pocket's about 45 minutes.
mm-hmm,
You have to you're now giving me a different lens to listen to it
mm-hmm,
again because I'm definitely
mm-hmm,
gonna listen to it again and hear some of those nuances because I'm thinking about it too. But Mariah Carey, she gives exactly what should be given. I mean, she's authentically her, and
mm-hmm,
in the
mm-hmm,
context, she chose to be who she is, and that is why
mm-hmm,
Mariah Carey is such an icon.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
now that I'm thinking about what you said, there's part of me that's also like, I think Meghan Markle is probably still struggling with her racial identity,
mm-hmm,
and I
mm-hmm,
hope she maybe through this architects
mm-hmm,
podcasting and interviewing that she gets there,
mm-hmm,
because I want
mm-hmm.
that for all my black queens, to
Absolutely,
find yourself
absolutely.
and to be one with yourself. But yeah, it's a very, very interesting listen. I definitely highly suggest it. But we'll get
Okay.
to the last topic, and that is
Yeah.
Miss Meg the stat. Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all, I love me some Meg. I
Say it. Say
I
it again for the people in the
adore
back.
I adore Meg because number
If you
one,
don't like her, you hating. I'ma
you
say it.
she is just number one lyrically superior than any of the rap girls out here. Like
You
if I was
know,
going to say,
I'm sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
oh no, 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 go ahead. What were you saying?
She is giving me like Mia X vibes. You
Oh,
remember Big
okay.
Mama Mia, No Limit
Yes.
Soldiers? You know, it is such a raw, authentic. I was listening, like I told you earlier, I listened to the entire album today, and from the beginning, NDA, the first song, I'm like, Meg is really popping her ish, and she always does. And the thing, especially one of the reasons I compare her to Mia X, she is really talking ish to these ninjas. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And she's talking to men how men traditionally talk to women a
Whew.
lot of times in hip hop music. And she is so unapologetic. And, you know, a lot of the girls that are out today, it's all about just give me your money, shake my, you know what I'm saying? And Meg says all that stuff too, don't get me wrong. But baby girl got bars and bars and
Whew.
bars and bars. And we're a little older, we're the aunties now. We come from an age of lyricism. You know, we
Yes.
like lyrics, we like storytelling in hip hop. We love a good story. I am
Yes.
the ultimate Young Jeezy fan. Like I followed that man all up and down the East Coast in my college years and my 20s. And I love him so much because I love the way he tells the story.
Yes.
Like I feel like I was in the kitchen cooking the O's too. Like I do. I was there. But that's the thing that makes her music so good. She tells the story, you know, and she does it so well and it's so authentic. It is so who she is. She's not switching up, you know, and so it's like let's go Meg. And me personally, her story, her background,
Yes.
I can relate to her a lot. Both of her parents are deceased. Both of my parents are deceased. My parents passed 16 months apart. My
Mm.
dad, when I was 17, going to NCCU. My mom during my sophomore year at NCCU.
Oh
So
my
I
God.
understand
Ooh,
what it's
wow.
like to be a young woman coming into your own without parental guidance, you know? And so I empathize with her more than anything. And I'm so proud of her because of all that she has done in the absence of her parents, especially her mom. So I'm one of those people, honestly, you're not going to talk bad about Megan to me. Like, you're not going to
Listen,
change my mind. But even beyond her being an amazing artist, like, I just like her as a person. Like, she's unapologetically her. Like, that seems to be the theme of the night, authenticity. And, you know, it sells, really. Authenticity sells. So,
it does. I mean, I literally ditto to everything you said and you're right. We come from a generation and a time where female rappers, whether you were showy like the Little Kims and the Foxy
mm-hmm.
Browns, or if you wore the baggy clothes or, you know, fully clothed like a Queen Latifah or MC Light or Yo-Yo, like
The
it was
brat too. Can't
about
forget about my girl brat.
yeah, or the brat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we can go back to or in or the in between, like a
Mm-hmm.
Lisa Left Eye Lopez, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
so we
Mm-hmm.
come from a generation of women who rapped and
Mm-hmm.
they had to be just as good as the guys. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
just the look. It couldn't be just the look.
Mm-hmm.
You had to have the talent.
Mm-hmm.
And to me right now, the two best female lyricists out there, period, is Megan the Stallion and Rhapsody. Those are the two I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
they can go bar for bar with any of these
Mm-hmm.
dudes. And
Mm-hmm.
even on her latest album, I thought it was great. There was only one song. There was a song she has with I don't know who the kid is or this young rapper,
Mm-hmm.
but I think his name is Pooh Shiesty or something like that.
Uh-huh.
That
From
was the work.
Memphis.
I was like, girl, I get it because these
Mm-hmm.
guys are popular or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That might be your homeboy. It's like, yeah, let's go and track together.
Mm-hmm.
You are better than them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are
Really. But
so
you know,
far superior
even
than them.
something I like about her album, and I talk about this all the time. Artists today always have to have a feature. It always got to be something like the album. Even I was listening to Chris Brown's latest album, and I'm like, dang, can I just get Chris?
Right.
Like, everything doesn't need a feature, and Meg has like 18 tracks. She gave us about 4 or 5 features. The hardest one was her and Lotto. Like, if you're gonna do a feature, she got Lotto on there popping her ears too. I rock with Lil Lotto because I
Yes.
watched the rap game. I ain't gonna lie, back in the day, she kicked it off in the rap game with
Oh,
Jermaine
I didn't know she
Dupri.
was on there.
Girl, she was the first winner, girl. Like, and that's why it's so
Oh.
interesting looking at her now. Like, you were just a little girl. Like, that's so crazy. But Meg has like a lot of just songs where it's just her. I think on this album, she opens up a lot more. We get a lot
Yeah.
more than just the hot girl. Meg, we get a lot more of her backstory. She's been a lot more vulnerable. We've seen her in the headlines over the past 2 years with the situation with Tory Lanez and her
Mhm.
best friend. First of all, she is talking cash trash to that little man. Like, you will not play the Stallion. Like, she is talking
Okay.
trash, song after
And it's
song
like we're
after
not gonna
song.
forget.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah,
gonna forget what you did.
so I love that for her. I love how she's not allowing the industry to bully her. She's
Yes.
not backing down. It's just so empowering, to young girls. I like how she promotes, like, she is who she is. She talks how she talks. She's from where she's from, and she makes no apologies for it. She's not trying to be somebody. Who she is what's selling her. And so I'm going to always continue to support the Houston Hottie.
I love, you know what? And like I said, ditto to all that. I love what she's doing. And when I saw this headline, because like I said, I was looking at other ones and I was like, wait, Meg wants to reboot one of my
Mhm.
favorite movies. So
Mhm.
in this,
She going to
she
kill it.
talks a little
Like
bit about wanting to reboot Bring It On. So as
Mhm.
a high schooler, I was a cheerleader and like
Mhm.
every cheerleader across America, and it was Bring It On
Bring It
was
was a
really
cultural
it was a
shock phenomenon. Yeah.
popular culture phenomenon. We all did it. If you were a cheerleader, you have told another squad to bring it. Like it was parodied. It has been a million times parodied. And Gabrielle Union, who still looks amazing when she was
Period.
a few
Black
years
don't
ago.
crack. We
She
knew
for
that. We
Halloween,
knew it.
her and Kavia were
Mhm.
clovers.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
and Gabrielle Union has also opened up about her experience with the movie and
Mhm.
oh no, okay, I thought I lost you for a second. And even talked about certain aspects of the behind the scenes that were pretty
Mhm.
racially
Mhm.
driven and
Mhm. Mhm.
I remember one part she had talked about she's like we did so much more filming, she said, but when she got to the premiere and saw the movie she was like almost half if not most of the scenes that they
Mhm.
shot
Were
were not
cut.
in the movie.
Mhm.
And I remember seeing the trailer and thinking like, well, where was all that stuff from the trailer? I didn't see none of
Mhm.
that in the movie.
Mhm.
So Meg is talking about doing a reboot, and she actually would love to reprise the role of Isis, which is
Mhm.
the character that Gabrielle Union played. I love this idea. I
Me
haven't really seen
too.
Meg in a big acting role. And of course, she's going to be in this season of She-Hulk. They haven't unveiled
Mhm.
what she's doing, but she'll be in there.
Mhm.
But she talks about in this article wanting to not only reprise the role, but not staying just in the rap lane.
Mhm.
She talks about wanting to be like Queen Latifah and Ice Cube,
Mhm.
where she can do
Mhm.
directing and producing
Mhm.
and acting. So I'll be honest, I love the idea. I'm not a big reboot person.
Mhm.
It's like sometimes just lead a class
Let
to
it be.
chaos. I love the idea because if this is something Meg does, whether she comes on as producer or is working with the team, I would love to see a more balanced version of this movie, an
Mhm.
updated version of it, but one that also expands cheerleading in a way that's really good. Like, Bring It On had a few, you know,
Yeah.
sequels that were just really bad.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But I would love something where it really gets into the the array, even on the black cheer side of
You
like
want some
Stomp
stomp
and
and
Shake.
shake.
Yeah, versus traditional. Because I didn't grow up with Stomp and Shake. The first time I saw that
Ooh.
was when I got to Central, and I was like, "What is?"
Welcome to the South, girl. We stomp and
Yeah,
shake down here.
I said, "Oh, I never saw that." Because I seen schools like Norfolk State. So for me, the closest schools were like Norfolk State, Bowie, Howard, and Morgan.
Mhm. And they
And
weren't
they
stomping and
don't
shaking.
they
Yeah.
don't really
You got to
do that
come under the
now.
Mason Dixie
Yeah.
and we'll show you how to stomp and shake. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
did your
Yeah.
high school stomp and shake?
Absolutely. I'm in Winston-Salem State. I am always forever at NCCU. I'm an Eagle, but I cannot not pay homage to Winston-Salem State University. My entire family graduated from there. And if we're going to talk stomp and shake, nobody does it better than Winston-Salem State University. I will give it to them. They are stomp and shake queens. At my high school, we were kind of like a baby version of Winston-Salem State. And so
Oh, okay.
back in 98, our cheerleaders were stomping and shaking it down. And that's why it's so interesting now to see so many high schools stomping and shaking. And I'm like, oh yeah, we've been there, done that. Like, we've done
Yes. See,
that.
we didn't have that. Now we still, even as a like we were a predominantly black squad, and I went to
Mm-hmm.
school in PG County, so ain't nothing but
Mm-hmm.
black school, high schools.
Mm-hmm.
We still did our traditional style, but it was
Cheering.
still, as we used to call it, it was traditional with a little flavor. Like,
Yeah.
we
And
still made it us.
And even like being in the South, you get stomp and shake, but you also get like on my high school, we had a lot of black girls that did like cheer extreme. So we were
Mm.
stomping and shaking, but we were stunting too. Like so don't take it away. We can do both of them. But I think even what you were saying in seeing if there is a reroute to kind of put a spotlight on the various types of cheer, I think Meg is the perfect one to do that. You see Stomp and Shake and black cheering come into the forefront. Sierra Jump, she actually had Winston-Salem State cheerleaders in the video. You see it coming to mainstream culture. And so I think Meg would just like straight up kill that. They can teach her to stomp and shake, and I think she could do an excellent job at it.
Oh, absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, her background is in cheer and dance that she did that in
Mm-hmm.
Houston. And
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing that's really beautiful about our culture and forever will be beautiful about our culture is, according to where you're from, there's always different variations. Because I have
Mm-hmm.
seen Texas Southern's cheerleaders. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not quite fully stomp and
Mm-hmm.
shake how they do it in North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
it's not so it's their own,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little
It's that
different.
swag,
Yeah.
that conference. You see it with
Listen.
Texas Southern, you see it with Jackson State, you see it with
Yes.
Alcorn and
Grambling.
Alabama State, Grambling. Yeah, so I just think that if they choose to do this, I would hope that they would do justice to black cheer. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not even gonna say stomp and shake. I would just say black cheer altogether. But I think that she can do it. I think it's dope that she's looking to venture out. Like I said, get out that box. She is so much more than just a rapper. Like, first of all, my girl got a whole degree. Like,
Yes.
degree
Thank
acts
you.
about her. But as black women, we are so multifaceted. There are so many different layers. And fortunately, she's in a position where she has the option to start removing layers and exploring different things and trying things out. Even if you listen to the new album, Meg is doing a little singing. And I chuckled. I
Yes.
chuckled. I said, okay, girl, I see
All right.
you.
Look,
You
she
know,
take a look
we
at a
see
little,
you.
just a little
But I mean, just trying something different. We know Meg has bars. We know she can pop her ish, but put a little ooh on that thing and let's see what it does, And people might not jump on it first time out the gate, but keep pressing the limit, keep, getting outside of the box. And I think her kind of dabbling into acting is her kind of just preparing to leave a legendary mark. So
Oh,
go Meg.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think one thing about her, and I've seen a lot of her recent interviews because she's been promoting her new album and her
Mhm,
tour.
mhm,
Like you said, I think this album was definitely, she has, songs where she talks about her anxiety
mhm,
and
mhm,
dealing with that, which, even we see these stars and these icons or icons in the making, if you will, and we don't think that they have the same things we have, right? Like we're like,
mhm,
Meg gets anxious, like what? Or
mhm,
she suffers
mhm,
from feeling this type of way, and
mhm, mhm,
like screw her girlfriend. Like, girl, you got tons of friends. Like, you're a
Mm-hmm.
celebrity. And it's like, no, that
Mm-hmm.
was her best friend.
Mm-hmm.
That hurts
That's
to
a
say you
low
have
blow.
a relationship.
First of all, if you've never had friend hurt,
Ooh,
baby, that'll take you lower than a man sometimes. Like that
listen,
friend hurt is it is
it's hard.
ugh, yeah, yeah,
I've dealt with it, and whew, like you
yeah.
said,
It's
that
tough.
sometimes I'm like, I'd rather let a man break my
Then
heart
your
than my
home
best
girl,
friend.
yeah, because it's like that friends gets to see you, and I think especially in Meg's case when you are motherless, you feel very unsecure or unsafe in this world. And so when you let the wall down and or let the veil down and you allow somebody to come into your space and into your heart, and then that person does not value that space in your life and they mistreat it or misuse it, you're kind of back to square one. Like, I feel like I can't trust anybody again.
Mhm.
And no one wants to be like that. And so I think, sometimes we do forget that celebrities are human.
Yes.
She's still grieving. I was looking at an interview that she did the other day, and she said, she doesn't feel like she's ever really properly grieved losing her
Mm,
mother. She's worked through it. She lost her mom in 2019 and dropped the album the same year,
yeah,
so she has been nonstop working. And so I think just this space, this place that she's in, she's ready to let us see her. And I
absolutely.
think she's becoming a lot more confident and comfortable in who she is. And if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, you don't. And people are still going to buy the music. People are still going to promote whatever project she does. And that's just going to be that.
Exactly.
Bag is not stopping. I
She's
promise you,
not.
the bag is not stopping.
She's
So,
not, and she has so many great, people behind her. I mean, and like you said, I'm ready to see what she starts to really expand and dabble in.
mm-hmm,
Especially if she, as she's working on her craft, not only just being an artist, but really branching into these other aspects. Like, all she is going to do is absolutely win. So I'm really hoping to see this brand. I'm like, look, someone needs a Will Packer, somebody talk to her and
figure.
be like, okay, what you got in mind? Like, let's talk about it. Cause like I said,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Latino was such
yeah.
a cultural thing in the early
Mm-hmm,
2000s. To see that rebooted, I will be honest, I think that would be so dope, and to
mm-hmm,
really open up what cheer looks like, in our culture and Black
mm-hmm,
culture, and
mm-hmm,
how that does integrate into other,
mm-hmm,
white cultures or PWIs, because it
mm-hmm.
was, oh no, it was more high school, but if they do the high school thing, I
Mhm,
would love
mhm.
to see where that goes. So I'm excited to see it. And again, I'm a mix, a stan, if you will. So I'm like, girl, whatever you do, I got you. Like, we there,
Absolutely,
we in the theaters.
absolutely.
So look, that was my last one. And I kept it a
Yay.
little over what I expected, but
It's okay, girl. It's
yes,
okay.
I want to
Kudos.
say thank you so much for hanging out with me this Wednesday. But of course, nothing, but I'm sending nothing but good vibes, good prayers your way going into your 15th year. As I always
Look,
say,
you see
being
my
with other
hands, I'm
people's
receiving
kids.
it. I am
Yes, being with other
receiving.
people's kids, and even just being
Child.
in grad school, girl. Look, I did that, and whew,
Is it
it's a
normal to
thing.
cry the first week? Because I didn't cry like so many times this week. Today marks a full week, and I cannot tell you how I have cried. I laughed when I opened up my class last Wednesday, my first class. I'm taking two, and I looked at all the work. And then I
Mhm.
had to go get in the mirror and do some affirmations.
Yes.
Like, you will succeed in this. You can do this. You will do it in excellence. You will understand, And I'm like, so you telling
Yes.
me to like read like 200 pages about a Nick
Yeah.
and go to a job? And this was
Yeah.
only one class. I hadn't even opened the second one yet. Like, And then I told myself, I said, India, people go to graduate school and work full-time jobs every day. You are no different. You can do this, so keep all the prayers and the positive vibes, and I will take them all. But kudos to you, Shanice. I'm super
Thank
proud
you.
of you. Super, super proud of you for doing this, evolving
Yes.
out, trying something new. My favorite quote is jump when you're afraid and gather your courage on the way down.
Ooh,
I
come
think
on with
this
the word.
is you gathering your courage on the way down. Like this is really dope for you. So kudos to you.
Thank you. Yeah, this is it was some I've my mentality has changed, not just through the pandemic, but just in life and in growth.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I always one of my favorite Bible quotes is 2 Timothy verse 7, which is, God's not giving us a spirit of fear,
Mhm.
but a
Mhm.
power of love and of a sound mind. And I've had that with me for so long. And I've really embraced it more as I've gotten older, but really in this space, in the season I'm in, because I've just decided to just do things, if I
Jump when you're afraid.
do it,
And gather your courage on the way down. By the time your feet hit the ground, you'll have all the courage you need to see it
Absolutely.
through. So this is really dope. This is when I saw it weeks ago that you were premiering it. I was like, okay, big auntie energy. I see you
Yeah.
embracing who you are. We're embracing auntie-ism.
Yes.
Like
I am, and I love it, and I have ideas of where I want it to grow. I want to be able to do
mm-hmm.
this live at homecoming one year at
Mm-hmm.
some point
Mm-hmm.
soon. And but I love that, so many people are down to kind of hang with me, and
Oh
I
yeah,
really
we
just
got
appreciate
you.
the support. I
Eagles
really
support
do.
Eagles. We take care of home, and you are home for
Absolutely.
me. So whenever you need me, you can call, girl.
Absolutely. I love thank you so like I said, India, thank you so much. You guys again are cash apps there. You guys can support the classroom. Girl, like I said, you right down the street, so we're gonna talk. But yeah,
Let me know. Let's link up. Are you
yes.
going to Aggie Eagle?
Girl, you already know. You know me.
Grad school made me counsel, girl. I'm so mad. I
I
said, you
understand.
know what? I have work to do, and
Yeah.
wisdom is speaking. Like you need to take this time because if I go to Charlotte, I'm gonna act a donkey this weekend.
Yes.
But
And you know what? It's your first semester. You really do have to get back on that bicycle, if you will.
Shanice, I
Really.
have not been in school formally in 15 years almost. I
Yeah.
graduated in 2007. So,
Yeah, girl.
girl, I'm like, I need to wake my brain up.
Exactly. That's why when you said it, I was like, I know you ain't. I didn't. That's why I wasn't even gonna ask you if you coming to Charlotte, because I'm like, no, you need to be reading or taking
Yeah,
care.
yeah, but it's all good. But I appreciate the support. Cheer for the Eagles for me as we beat those puppies from Greensboro.
Okay, but yes, thank you so much for hanging out with me, Indy. You have a great rest of your evening, and good luck with all that you are going through and all that you are doing for these students and also for yourself.
Thank you, and likewise, girlie. You guys have a good night.
All right,
Thanks.
bye bye. So, y'all, this is so weird. I'm like, am I popular? Because now I have weird people I have to block on here, which I don't know how this happened. So, unfortunately, if y'all are in the comments, I am sorry for these weird trolls that I'm getting in the comment section. So I apologize to those who are still here, who are still listening. But most importantly, I appreciate India for hanging out with me. And this is the last Wednesday of the month. We're going into September, but most importantly, we've done a lot for all of our educators. So I just want to send a quick little shout out and special thank you to all of my educator friends who came on and hung out all month. That's Jahara, Phaedra. I have to look at my notes because yes, I forgot all. So Jahara, Megan, Phaedra, Shakara last week, and of course, India. I appreciate all of you. Thank you all for hanging out with me this Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we will be back with another show. And next week, we are going to be doing an NFL preview. We are talking all things sports, and more sports, but most importantly, NFL. So I'm excited for that show. I'm going to have a very, very, very special guest on. Not telling y'all who. I'm not even going to tag them in the post. Y'all will have to be here next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern to see who my special guest is. I'm excited. Thanks for hanging out with me this Wednesday. Of course, let me put my final banner up that I love to put up, and I don't think I did it earlier. There we go. So, of course, you can continue to follow this show. I am on Twitter at _BAE for Big Auntie Energy _show. And, of course, on Instagram at the Big Auntie Energy Show. Thanks again to all my guests. I will see y'all next Wednesday. Y'all have a good week and a safe holiday weekend. Bye.